Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where and when you're watching this broadcast. I'm Thomas Fesmar, friends, and this is Disclosure Tonight. Happy Tuesday, May 19th, 2026. And the nonstop marathon continues. Yes, we take Sundays off, but you know what? As Disclosure moves on, we're back to a daily broadcast. And hey, man, we got some crazy stuff to talk about today. Lou talking about alien agreements? Absolutely. But before we get to that point, friends, let's go ahead and welcome in our audience and see who the hell we have out there. Let's take a look and welcome you in. Well, we've got Anne Marie's out there along with Anonymous Rex. A. Phil's in the chat along with Aussie and Aussie Waz and Carl Joe Garrison and Casey James. How about that? Cindy Phil Holler is following up along with C.W. Bedeb. Whatever that means. Delta Echo is back. Thank you again for that super chat the other day, my friend. Eliza Teal's out there along with Firefly and Galactic Family Podcast. Jay's out there. Good to see you, my friend. Geraldine Durazio, Ghost, Grateful Benny, Health Business, Hollywood Herald, along with JJ, Jericho, Joey Spades. Names are popping around as I'm trying to read them. There's John Geldhill and Kane Northup. We got Kathy Noodles. Lord Malthus is out there along with Louie and Marcus and the Mandels. We got Martimus, Max Metal, Mr. Drews. Would you look at that? We got Mr. Grimlock and Mr. Catfish 2100. Mr. Joey B's in the chat along with Psychosomatic, Attic Insane. We got Push King, Rasma B fan, Scooby Dooby Gooby. Ray G just popped up literally in front of me. Good to see you, Ray G. We got Skip the Maloo, Stephen Forbes, Steve Mateo, the Supercharged Lands Cruiser. Teresa Loves Our President, Wee Wiki, Yankee 5858, and Yellow Tommy Tanker, who's listening in from work. How about that? Let's jump into the studio and say... National security, my friend. How's it going? You're muted. You muted yourself. We can't hear you. You're still muted. Not a problem. Gotta have some fun. Gotta have some fun. Mike's off at a birthday party for his kids, so he'll be sliding in the show later today. But, Daryl, I never thought we would hit the day where we have a title card that says alien agreements. I don't know where the hell Nick is. Nick has been bringing up these alien agreements going on a regular basis forever. But Lou's finally talking about it, which was kind of a shocker because the last time Lou was on the show, we asked him about alien agreements, and he kind of clammed up and really wouldn't address it. Yeah, absolutely. All right. That's national security. Let's go ahead and find where the hell did I put that post at? I know it's in here. Oh, God, I got news popping up. Why do they always have to launch the stories right as we're starting the show? All right, let's not get to distracted. ADD, superpowers, behold. All right, nope, not that one. All right. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Yeah, you can't. They can't hear you. Of course they can't, because it should be on. Let me look at guests. Hold on. Oh, God. Hold on. Properties. OBS composite audio. It is on. Oh, and Google Chrome is off. Now they can hear you.
Hey, everybody. National security again.
There we go. National security, national security. Yeah, there was a problem going before the show, and I figured it out. And sorry, folks. Yeah. Audio problems, go figure. All right. On that note, let's go ahead and let's get to... Okay, so Lou Elizondo was on the Jillian Michaels podcast. And this is not the one I want to play. This is the one I want to play, coming to us from our friend over at Skywatch Signal who put this clip together. He's over on X. He's on YouTube. Puts a lot of work into this, so you appreciate the work he does, just like UAP James. So Jillian Michaels fights back tears as Lou talks about alien hybrid breeding programs, gets into talking about alien agreements that were put in the 50s. We've never quite heard him talk about this before, so let's get to it. Where is that ad video full? Let me get to the clip, bring it up a little bit. Full. Get to it, make it a little, Leo needs to go a little bit larger. Yeah, right. We got it.
And
She gets pretty worked up here. Let's watch it and talk about it. Here we go.
so, where do we start? Should we start with an alien hybrid breeding program where they're capturing caravans of immigrants and forcing them into this? Or should we start with the fact that a congressman who is well respected thinks that if this is fully disclosed, it's going to set the country on fire? I'm going to hand this one over to you here. I'm speechless.
Sure. Well, first of all, I've had the privilege of speaking to Representative Tim Burchett and his colleagues, and what he's saying regarding access to very sensitive information, he's absolutely correct. Some of the people that briefed those individuals, I personally know. They were colleagues of mine back in the day. He's absolutely correct that some of the population, I think, would probably be potentially concerned about.
Daryl, do you think the population would be concerned about alien breeding programs?
Yes, I do. I'm actually more concerned about Jillian over here and what the hell is going on with her.
Yeah, I know.
She's psychologically disturbed for some reason.
Just a bit there, I think.
How much we know about this topic, and for several reasons we can go into that. Now, as far as this notion of alien crossbreeding and hybridization, let me just preface this. When I was in the Pentagon at ATIP, I was a nuts and bolts kind of guy, so really airframe, air integrity, the material science and propulsion behind the vehicles themselves, not so much the occupants. But what Gates is referring to is something called, in the vernacular, it's known throughout kind of the U.S.
Okay. Got to point this out. He said what Gates is talking about. Daryl, I think he's talking about former Representative Matt Gates.
Oh, Matt Gates. Okay.
Yeah.
The only other Gates I know is Bob Gates. So
Well, it's not Bill Gates.
Well, yeah, but I mean, involved with the topic.
Exactly.
UFO community as my labs, and what it suggests is that there's been a long-standing agreement or understanding between us and our friends from out of town.
Okay, we got a long-standing agreement in place
that have allowed us to work with whatever these are, in a cooperative agreement, and in exchange for that, supposedly they would have access to certain human specimens biologically in order to test.
Oh, okay. So as part of the deal, they're going to get access to biologics or things from humans. What we're not going to hear is what are we getting out of it? If it gets there, but I don't think it's going to go there.
I have to say, first and foremost, I heard about that while I was at the Pentagon. I was not privy to the specifics of that. From my understanding, that relationship began, if it is true, sometime in the 1950s, and has continued. I have met several individuals, former intelligence officers for the Air Force and other services, who swear by it, who actually say they've had encounters with UAP and have seen military personnel in and around the vehicles, and as if, very nonchalant, as if it was supposed to be. I have to be careful with going into any type of speculation about hybridization or any type of scientific study or research, because again, that was not my forte. But what I will say is I've had plenty of individuals
Yes, Chris.
tell me verbatim that the military is far more, the military industrial complex is far more involved in this topic than anyone really knows. There are cases which seem rather interesting, where you have in some cases UAP potentially being escorted by American fighter jets and allied fighter jets. So that would give you some sense of cooperation, maybe between us and whatever they are.
Holy shit. So we've seen these videos before where you've got a UFO going along potentially with a couple Blackhawks. But if these things can speed up and go to 3,000 or 56,000 miles an hour, Why would they just be lollygagging along, going slow, and being visible for the public to see it if there's a top secret agreement between us and the aliens?
Maybe there's more than one species of aliens. We don't have all of the agreements nailed down, potentially.
Yeah. Supposedly there's ones that are good, there's ones that are bad, and there's ones that just don't give a fuck. Either way.
I have a feeling Jillian is only thinking about the bad ones, judging by her face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then maybe she missed some pills or took too many of one.
Or Boo Boo needs a glass of wine. That's what I think.
I can't tell you for certain because simply I wasn't privy to that, if that indeed existed. But I will also say it's really not that far of a stretch if we were to come into contact with, let's say, just another nation, right? So let's look at it this way from a real perspective. There are tribes right now that are isolated in the Amazon and also in the South Pacific, and we have these no-go zones. Basically, we're not going to interfere with these indigenous people and their development because they've never had outside exposure. They haven't been exposed to recent diseases and things like that, and it could cause a significant problem for them. But once one culture decides to engage another culture here on Earth, right? Forget about out there, just right here. You have an exchange of ideas. You have agreements between the different peoples. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You can go back and look at the Conquista.
He's equating us to being the lost tribes who are having agreements. Oh, wonderful. We're in such a great position. We're fucked. When are they going to start bringing the crates of blankets and trinkets?
And corn and horses.
Yeah. But I think they already had corn. We didn't bring corn to them. They had corn.
That's right. We just brought diseases and horses.
Yeah, and the blankets.
And the blankets.
Here we go. Let's play the rest of this. We can go ahead and speculate on what the hell. Man, he's looking at you and staring you down at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually that eye will be fixed. But that is a great talent. Reminds me of, oh God, the old press secretary. God, what was her name? She went on to be the governor of Arkansas. She could stare down two different people on different sides of the room at the same time.
Oh my God. What, no.
Oh God.
Her name right now.
I can't remember her name.
In the chat.
What's her,
Sarah Huckabee.
Yeah, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, man. It's like that. Lou is actually looking at you and staring you down at the same time to freak you out. But then we've got, Huckabee Sanders. She could be doing that to separate people across the room. And if you ever took her face and you put a piece of paper up on one side of her face and the other, it's two completely different people.
Yeah, that's an interesting exercise to do on many different people, actually.
Yeah. Here we go.
During their La Reconquista, or the reconquering, where their interaction with indigenous people didn't go so well, right? Same here in the United States, where we maybe did some things that we probably shouldn't have towards
the American Indians,
people. Yeah. In other cases, it was a little bit more symbiotic. So let's get back to the question you're having, specifically about hybrids and alien hybrids.
Oh my!
I don't know. I do know that there are people out there that swear by it.
Wow. Where the hell does this one go next? But except he said it. He brought it out. It's something people have speculated out. But, Daryl, it comes down to it. If they're giving up the people who aren't on the military bases, they're not going to say, yeah, come and take as many soldiers as you want, right? No, they ain't going to say that. Take as many people as you want from the homeland. We'll just go ahead and call them missing,
Yeah, I don't think they have that right to do that. The government, that is.
Doesn't matter if they have that right? They can still make whatever deals they want, because if they want the, technology to make big mad scientists go boom, yeah.
I just had a flashback to Scooby-Doo when you did that.
Who?
Is that the old Scooby-Doo, the show.
Yeah, of course.
The cartoon. When you went, what was that old man, whatever his name was?
Old Man Smithers.
There you go. I'll get you kids.
I'll get you kids. And dog too. But I can't pull off the mask, unfortunately.
I hope she doesn't actually stick something to her lips right now because it'd be stuck probably permanently.
It's like I should be able to. Oh fuck! They're stuck.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Good Lord.
Quack.
How many babies had to die for those lips?
Quack, quack, quack. Maybe. I got ducks out here, so I talk duck. I see lips like that and reminds me of a duck. But anyway, interesting conversation. We got to see Lou staring us down and looking at us at the same time. Wow, that is a new talent he got out of that. Yeah, he's getting fixed. He's getting better. But all right. I guess it's survey time.
Ooh, survey.
Alien agreements. True, fact or fiction? That's our first one.
Can I ask?
Yes, your camera looks great, but it's running out of sync with your audio. If you could plug your audio into your camera, it could take care of it.
That's all going through a computer.
Okay. Well. Okay. Fact or fic? Okay. Alien agreements. Yeah. Okay. We'll just do fact or.
Did Lou say how he came by the information? I'm just
Yeah,
curious.
people he knew within the Department of Defense, people who were part of the Air Force and other three-letter agencies who were in the agencies said about it. So let's go ahead and bring this up. Okay, audience, this is your chance for me to lose the window. Let's get to it. Hey, Google, set a timer for 1 minute and 30 seconds, please.
Okay, 1 minute.
Starting now. I'm not going to start the sound effects. You're lucky because if I start, I could crash OBS. I'm not going to get there. We got 1:22 to go. And where the hell did our chat go? There we go. 70% of our audience, Daryl, interesting, is saying alien agreements is fact. Wow. That's a big.
I mean, it's not like we have inside information, but the guy that says he has inside information, I kind of tend to believe Lou, actually.
Yeah.
So.
He could say, yeah, I heard that stuff from different people and it's total bullshit. I didn't believe a word's coming out of it. But then again, Lou never says bad stuff about people. But with 106 votes in already, with just 47 seconds left to go, while there is no going back, our audience is taking it as fact. But I guess that we're going to have to look at from here is what are they doing with it? What was the take? They got the give. Was the take. Wow. 70%, 30%, it is not moving. Usually when it first pops up, we get an idea, and this does not. Yeah, polls don't make it true. Hypersonic boom. However, it's where our audience is taking us at this point, and I usually follow the audience. Even if Lou was intel, what the hell? They moved disclosure forward, didn't they, Daryl? Stuff's happening. He could be the person behind the drip to bring it forward.
I mean, he's kind of like a foundational leader in the current specter of everything that's going on. I just have to ask you, is my audio slow or fast? Do you hear me before do you see my lips move before the audio?
Your audio is coming a little bit before the lips, which means the processing on the camera, after things you can turn off on the camera, could potentially.
The camera doesn't have a microphone.
What?
It's just the camera doesn't have a microphone.
No. But could be processing on the camera itself. We'll deal with after the show, and we can have a one-on-one session. I can help you dial in some settings on it.
I can slow the audio.
Yeah, exactly. So, well. I'm going to start it. We had 132 votes in. I am going to end this poll. The audience has spoken, and interesting enough, for posterity's stakes, yes, 72% of our audience says yes, alien agreements are fact. Along those lines now, Daryl, if we have agreements going on, and they're taking our people for some of this shit, right? What's the give is our people. We're giving our people away. What are we getting back? Technology? Weapons?
I mean, I hope these people are volunteers. I'm still kind of.
I don't think the people who are getting taken away are volunteers.
Oh, Close Encounters, all those people jumped on the the craft and went away.
Yeah, but this one I heard in another clip. I think it was this clip or another one. They were talking about literally like going ahead and grabbing caravans of people. As they're, I think that will be the drug cartels more than anything. Yeah. All right. So let's move on from this one. Audience, appreciate the feedback on everything. Let's get back to the studio for a second and let me get our next story up that we've got to go ahead and cover here. Okay, get past that one in a second. I don't want to cover up Daryl as I try. I need to go ahead and create another window over here so I can pick up the stories and bring it across. Yeah, a lot of videos and stuff popping up today, folks. And our next one we've got coming on. Okay, so Lester Nair from the UAP Disclosure, or from the Disclosure Fund. They're a 501c4, not a C3. They take the money. You can't write it off. They want you to give it so they can go ahead and use it for whatever they're going to use it for. Interesting. We love them. I hope it goes well for them. But let's bring this in. All right. So coming from Lester Nair from the Disclosure Fund. Our recent release of NSA records on UAP makes this 2024 interview with former NSA Director Mike Rogers hit a little bit differently. He said he initially wondered if being asked for everything the NSA had on UFOs was a joke. So let's hear what he has to say on this one, and then I'm going to show you the cache of what we got. You know that laugh, my friend. You know what that means. Let's play it. Let's see where the schmuck takes us. He's a former director of the NSA. Oh, boy. Here we go.
The director of national intelligence, James Clapper, calls me, Mike, I need you to go through all of it. I need the team to go through all of NSA's holding all of its files, and I need everything that you have on UFOs. And I'm like, what, sir? You want me to do a review of our databases on UFOs? And I'm literally thinking to myself, is this some kind of joke? But clearly it's not, which is reflected in the question. For a lot of people, this is, hey, what is going on out there? Look, clearly there are phenomena occurring out there that both are visible and that we can't explain. I don't know what causes them. I don't know what they are. I don't know why. I never saw anything in my experience in the government in 37 years, both as an intelligence professional, but also as a senior military individual. I never saw anything that led me to believe that there was some external, i.e. non-terrestrial actor behind this kind of activity. But the flip side is I couldn't explain yet some of the activity. I just don't know. The director of national intelligence.
He just doesn't know. Well, they actually got, Daryl, over 335 pages of 334 pages of documents. 334 pages of redactions.
Great.
Blankety blank, 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 blank. Sighted a UFO described as a spherical or disk-like with the form ID established color brighter than the sun with a diameter of 1/2 of the size of the moon. At the time of observation, object was above the upper ridge of the clouds on a turf bearing 120 degrees azimuth. Okay. When, where, what? Oh, wait. There we go. There's another good page. Wait. We got another good page. Wait. Most plausible explanation of UFOs is they are blankety blank, 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 blank. Not balloons. No, it just says balloons. So, there's not a lot of stuff here. Here we go. Blue light. These objects were reportedly visible from 1 to 5 minutes. 1/2 hour later, blankety blank blank saw a third object traveling in the same direction, and they presumed this was to be a satellite. How many blue satellites do you see, Daryl?
Not a whole lot, Thomas.
None. I've never seen a fucking blue satellite. They're all like whitish in color.
Can I also say I find it interesting that he said it's half the size of the moon. Well, I mean, the moon, depending on, the time of night, might be bigger, smaller. I just kind of find that interesting.
Is it a full moon on the horizon, or is it the moon at the full azimuth? You know what I mean? What's really small?
Yeah, that's just interesting that they use that.
Yeah. So, observation made from blankety blank blank blank, a yellowish object on a steady course, time of sightings and clear atmospheric conditions, fit satellite. Early sighting 1930 hours or so, viewed for longer periods. So we're going to see a lot of redactions. So, it's nice that we've got a little bit out here coming from this, Daryl. But I don't think this moves the clock much at all towards Disclosure Day.
No, and especially for the masses, I mean, we definitely get into the weeds on this kind of stuff more so than anybody else. But for the masses, they aren't. They just want to see, the stuff. Now,
Yeah.
I don't really care that much about the masses, but I mean, if we want everybody to be singing Kumbaya, they're going to have to see some more proof.
Right.
But
so there have been blank sightings of UFOs from blank and blank and blank and blank, normally traveling into prevailing wind, maximum estimated height of about 50,000 feet, and the largest number at one time has been 8. This sounds decent, except the next paragraph, which is gone. Blankety blank 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 blank. Visual sightings of UFOs from blankety blank 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 continued to present blankety blank 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 blank. UFOs, usually described as yellow or green, appear between 1900 and 2130 hours, seemingly drifting over the area. Possibly that the UFOs of some kind of blank 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 spying device appears remote. The details are all gone. And it's usually they are usual sightings of satellites or other space debris. So we've got a lot of redacted information, and what they're leaving us is their bullshit analysis, right?
Yeah, I mean, unless you like staring at blank space.
Yeah. All right. Bull. I mean, having a little fun with this one. All right. Our next survey friends. NSA document dump. Too much redacted. It moves the needle, or best ever. Okay, audience. Hey, Google. Set a timer for 1 minute and 30 seconds, please.
Got it. 1 minute.
You turned off your Google, didn't you, Daryl?
No, it's for some reason just didn't pick you up yet.
It didn't pick me up today. How about that? All right, well, the minute 20 left to go. Yep, too much redacted, Daryl. Moves the needle, 23%. Too much redacted, 70%. Best ever. Some of the audience got it, 8%.
Yeah.
It's not going to move.
That's Michael Sukloff saying best ever.
Best ever. Who wants to? Oh, it's Blue Elf again. It's Pink Floyd.
Okay, good.
Same person, different country. All right, 47 seconds left. All right, 45, 99 votes in. We've got about 100. I don't think this is going to move, but let's just let the rest of the votes come on in. Audience, you've spoken again. Not disappointed one more time. Wow. 30 seconds left. God, this is like the longest survey I've ever had without that music going on. Michael, how would you have voted?
I voted too much redacted because they shouldn't redact anything.
Yeah. How about the other Michael in the back? You're muted, by the way.
He's best ever.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I voted the same way. Too much redacted.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely. With 5 seconds left, I think the audience and everybody is in agreement on this one. There we go. The audience has spoken one more time. Final answer is too much redacted. Some love coming in from their audience. Thank you for that. And folks, let's go ahead. Bring that back up. You snipe my Google device. Hey, Google, turn off all the lights.
Oh, motherfucker. What's going on? Your voice must be different today.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I'm having some fun with Googles everywhere. Hey Alexa, play my favorite song.
There's no Alexa in this house, so
My Alexa's someplace else. That's for the audience at this point. All right, let's get on to our next piece. Yeah, we got a bunch of videos to get through here today. Let's get out of this post and get to our next one. Our next clip is coming from, yes, Representative Tim Burchett expects the next UFO files release will include false information to intentionally screw us up. What the fuck? The deep state is playing with us once again. Let's get this clip up. And this is just total bullshit, friends. What the fuck is up with that? Here we go.
There are things that are flying at speeds that we can't achieve and at angles that we can't turn, and the amount of times flying on the surface and then going underwater and then coming out. We've just got too much testimony and too much out there. So, and I think there's going to be some misinformation they're going to put out too in this next group of files, intentionally to screw us up. So, which you'll obviously be able to see some of this stuff. Obviously, that it is a balloon or some of this other stuff. I've seen some of these videos. I'm wondering why the heck they're even putting them out. But I think the cover-up continues, and I do believe the president and the White House, the good guys, so to speak, are having a hard time with a lot of our alphabet agencies and the deep state. It's classic deep state versus America.
Wow, Daryl, on this one, we're hearing that coming from good old Tim Burchett, someone we love here. He's the straightest shooter we have in the House of Representatives, no pun intended. And he's calling it out. They're spiking the information, coming out with fake shit. What the hell's up with that? That doesn't seem right.
It's the frigging guy with the man bun.
Oh my God, man bun syndrome.
He keeps inserting his disinformation. I mean, Burchett's the guy that keeps saying everybody should be paying attention to that. That in a lot of these meetings he's been in, there's somebody in the meeting that tries to distract from what's really going on. And, you go back to that Susan Go hearing with whoever the new Arrow guy was, and you can see her in the back kind of sniveling and kind of whatever.
Oh God, yeah.
Acting like it's unserious.
We're gonna have to load up the tranny of misinformation and disinformation, the two of them, send them into frickin' Washington D.C., let them be the armed guards for Burchett to bring out the truth.
Okay.
All right. Oh God. In this next episode, Lou's getting into it. This one is coming from Jillian Michaels herself up on X. Full episode in the comments. Questions are exploding. Let's see where she's not so bad in this one. Let's see where this one goes and how this interview progresses a bit more. She seems to be losing it a bit more. It's like, she needs her Xanax again.
Xanax, or maybe. Yeah, something.
Xanax. Final
She's
answer.
So expressive with her face and her lips.
Yeah. There we go.
The Chinese scientists, if these scientists, and this is pure, let me just caveat this for the record, this is pure speculation on my part. But if those scientists...
Which we don't get Lou to speculate a lot. But let's see where he takes it.
This happened to be intelligence assets for the U.S. government, and they were working some of these secret technologies, then one can imagine that the Chinese government would try to make an example, right? And rather than haul them up into court and making a big political issue out of it, they did what the Russians did. They just eliminate people. And then what happens, the other scientists get the point very quickly and realize, hey, we better shut our mouths. We better not work with anybody here because, the PRC does not condone this. And it may be why that individual wrote what he did, where he says, I'm being sacrificed, because maybe he knew that, the gig was up. Maybe he was being controlled by some sort of foreign intelligence, and China isn't going to put up with that. And so they decided to resort to dirty tricks. So we have to be careful there's similarities between the scientists we have here in the United States missing or dead and the ones that perhaps happened in China some time ago. But they also might be completely and totally different as well. And so we have to keep an open mind. We really need more data, more information. And this is why the FBI investigation is so important, because they're going to be able to uncover links that we simply wouldn't be able to do. They can look at phone records, right? They can look at all sorts of things to determine where these scientists were, who they were working with, and then start drawing on a map, what are those commonalities? Who did they have in common? And to see if there's any linkages there. I agree with you. I think some of these were probably natural death regarding the scientists in our country.
Yeah, but God.
But
Can
I also
pause
know
there.
Some of them may not be. And I say that because I was myself and David Grush, who we worked at the U.S. Space Force together after I left the Pentagon. We were both threatened very, very specifically to shut our mouths. Otherwise, we would have our mouths shut for us.
Well, this brings us back to the point where we're talking about Kevin Childress again. The guy I talked to about 6-7 weeks before he ended he was terminated, executed, whatever you want to call it. Lou Jimenez, we'll bring this up again, actually has an episode. I have to go and search on my hard drives. I need to go turn them on again and search. I might have the episode on the hard drives here. I have to search for it. He had a full interview that was on UCR, like a 2-hour interview. At least, no, it was a 1-hour interview. Talked about the whole thing, what was going on at the DOE. And this is like probably, within 3 to 4 weeks of when he passed, Daryl. He definitely got his life ended for talking out as someone. I mean, he was like head of security. And if you remember, they've said many times that the costs for security for keeping the legacy program secret is about 10 times the amount of money that they actually spent on the research. Yeah.
Who said that?
I don't remember. Well, I don't remember.
I can believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy, though.
Yeah. 10 times over is what the estimates are out there at this point. So we'll see where that one goes. All right. All right. This next one, again, coming from Jillian Michaels. It's a great episode. Go check it out, folks. Last one we're going to show on this one. Jillian is talking with Lou. She seems a little bit earlier in the podcast here. What started as UFO sightings reportedly turned into medical investigations inside the Pentagon. Claims involving radiation-like burns, organ damage, and directed energy exposure are now back in the spotlight. All right, here we go. Let's play this clip. Here we go, folks.
Amy Eskridge was claiming she was being attacked and harassed, but more importantly, attacked by directed energy weapon. It is true that Havana syndrome was being taken very, very seriously by the U.S. government at the time, and it is possible that individuals were suffering the consequences of it. The reason why you see, when you say you saw her hands and they looked red, while I was at the Pentagon, we actually had a study, and we had medical doctors and even surgeons that were assigned to our program that were trying to understand the symptoms of when you got too close to directed energy, and in this particular case, a UFO, because a lot of the pilots that were reporting a near encounter with a UFO would come back, and it looked like they had sunburn. Right, their skin was red and it was a little bit blotchy. And it turns out that is very consistent with superficial radiation poisoning, just like a sunburn. You get too close and you get too much UV light on your skin, and what happens? Your skin gets red, and you burn. So, if Amy was a victim to some sort of directed energy, you could potentially see that reddening of skin, and then even more, you'd have the consequences of internal organ damage and eventually organ failure. Because what happens, it starts with the skin, but if that energy is energetic enough and it's being directed at you, it actually goes inside your body and gets absorbed by your major organs. And again, they do not do well with radiation. Amy was very convinced that her and her father, and this is what I can tell you, her and her father were absolutely convinced that they had perfected and could demonstrate and test anti-gravitics.
But, okay, Amy, from what we understand, Daryl, was the pitch master. She understood the technology, but her job was the pitch and trying to land people for funding. Now, they had some initial things that they were putting together that they thought they could go ahead and figure out anti-gravitics. But we have to look like 10, 12 years later since she's passed, right? Falcon Aerospace still hasn't mastered any of the stuff she was pitching back then. So did it all get shut down when she passed? No, because she was the pitch person. She wasn't the scientist kind of really doing the deep research coming in. So either way, it's...
right? Wasn't that her dad who was doing the research?
I thought it was Mark Sokol from Falcon Aerospace who was doing the research.
Well, she had a biology degree, so you're right. I mean, she wasn't, designing the science or figuring it out.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get past this one, and I hope she's feeling better. This podcast took a lot out of her. Jay Albertson, your hand is up, my friend.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that what Lou is saying is 100% true as far as like being around the area in the vicinity of where a craft had been, because of the fact that I myself had also been. I guess my skin, my hands on my skin started falling off, or my skin on my hands started falling off on my arms. I was on Ancient Aliens Season 19, Episode 5, The MUFON Files.
Yep.
I'm the second episode in, and I was at a UAP landing site in Wapwallop, Pennsylvania, about 3-4 hours after this guy had said that it came down.
Right. And what did you have effects on your hands or stuff from the site? Were they able to go ahead and measure radiation at that location,
Yes.
Jay?
Yes, 100%. I had radiation. I had radiation type burns on my arms only, nowhere else on my entire body. And
Were your arms exposed, short sleeve or something?
Yes, that was the only. Yeah, my arms were exposed to the initial area, like over top of it. I was over it with my arms trying to collect samples.
Gotcha.
And I felt the burning on the inside of my arms, and I ran back to my van, and all of a sudden here comes, the radiation meter goes off, and then the EMF meter started going off, and then just everything started going kooky. And I went directly to the hospital. I got they named it. They said it was unexplained skin eruption. Yeah,
That's the biggest bullshit answer I've ever fucking heard.
Yeah, they got around it because of the fact that my state investigator is a police chief for one of the for a couple counties up here in Pennsylvania. So he called the hospital, and they were aware that a MUFON investigator got hurt at a supposed UFO landing site. And when they heard MUFON, and I walked in there, it did not matter if I had and I did. I had the meter with me on my arm, and it was going off in the hospital.
Right.
And they said that wasn't that. They pretty much brushed it off. As soon as they heard MUFON, they brushed it off. They wouldn't even really talk to me. They wrote a prescription for skin irritation or something, and wrote unexplained skin eruption. It was ridiculous.
Well, at least at this point, hopefully now when stuff like this goes forward in the future, Jay, it'll be treated with a bit more seriousness.
I'm hoping so. At least coming from Lou, I know that's 100% true as far as being around the area of a craft where it was. Like that can really happen to people.
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks, Jay. It sounds like a harrowing experience. No long-term effects, nothing with your lymph nodes. Everything's cool.
I had effects of alopecia on the top of my hair and all over my head, which I have the pictures of them I can send you, Thomas. My whole hair, like I started getting like these real patches of alopecia, but after I stayed home, I didn't go out, and it started to heal on its own. And then the patches, I don't have them anymore, and they're, my hair's perfectly fine. So
Coconut
it was,
oil.
what I'm thinking, it was residual from being there.
Wow. And what did you see when you were there? Someone Chan 3 in the audience asked that question. What did you see when you were there at the site?
I saw there was a big a push down impression into the ground. They had mowed the grass about maybe a day or two before this, so it was freshly mowed. And then you see this almost like a kid's table, okay, and how round it is, and it's like flat into the ground, and it's like straight down. This is how far down this I guess divot was in the grass or whatever. It was down. The grass was pushed down in a circle, and there was 3 burned circles on the inside of that, which is, one was 12 inches, the outside 2 were 12 inches, and the inside one was 14 inches, and they were burned circles. So when we took the samples and we sent them to the lab at MUFON over in Missouri, they actually took the grass and looked at it through a microscope and said that this grass had been burned from the inside out, meaning it was microwave radiation that burned the grass. It wasn't like taking a lighter up to a grass and burning the outside. You have microwaves, you have to burn it from the inside out. It's like putting your food in the microwave. That's the same thing.
Have you besides that, have you had any tumors or fatty tumors or anything else in your arms or different parts of your body after that?
Surprisingly not.
Okay.
The alopecia healed up. The arms have healed up. The red spots are still there and visible. They're kind of like, they're like a bleach white, I guess, on the skin. But they're all healed up. I don't have any alopecia, and I'm okay.
Yeah.
That was 2 years ago. So.
Wow. Well, yeah. I would say if you still have marks, start just treating it with coconut oil. It could help it heal.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you, Thomas.
Absolutely. Now, let's get to our next clip here. We got Lou Elizondo commenting on, that was the subject of yesterday's show, talking about what Trump was saying and putting out the post of him walking along with aliens. I mean, this is after he's coming back with President Xi over in China. So 80+% of our audience did go ahead and say that they believe Trump has been read in at this point based on the post he was making yesterday. So on that note, let's see what Lou Elizondo has to say from his point of view. Here we go, folks. And thank you to UAP James for clipping this for us. Clip.
The photo of him walking with an alien, it's so crazy. There it is right there. What do you think he's signaling by putting this out? And what do you expect is going to come with the next release of UFO documents?
Well, the president has a good sense of humor. I think he's having a little fun with this. But at the same time, again, like with other issues, he's delivering on his promise. And that is to release information regarding UFOs or UAP, the way we talk about them now. And I think there's going to be another drop here very soon. There are people in the administration that are very much engaged in this topic for national security reasons, by the way, not just idle curiosity. And I think this is a way of President Trump communicating with the American people, maybe a little bit in jest. But he is definitely delivering on a promise, and he is releasing information.
The photo of him walking with an alien.
That's true. Trump is at this point is going and releasing information. I think this is the most information, even though we've only had one drop so far. He's talked about it more, released more information than any other president we have ever had in history, Daryl.
Yeah, I mean, there's no denying that. I mean, there may be some that wanted to come out with the information, maybe Kennedy, but yeah, I mean, without a doubt, he is the disclosure president. He's the one telling everybody to release the stuff. We just need, if Mike were here, he'd say, "But we need that executive order."
Oh, I've been saying we need that executive order for fucking years. Because everyone's been saying, oh, it's about freaking Congress, that Congress needs to have it, that the House of Representatives and Senate need to come together and they need to pass these laws and we're going to try and get out disclosure and force it. They have no power. You have no power here. Be gone, is kind of what we're dealing with. They don't. The only one who is going to have the power to bring it out literally is going to be the president, whether it's this president or the next president, the one after it, but this president is actually moving it forward. So you need it because it's all part and it's deeply entrenched in the deep state part of the executive branch. They hide it in the DOE. They hide it in the Department of War. They hide the shit with some contractors, but I think most of it's hidden with the DOE, tell you the truth.
Well, that's a good place to hide it since you can't FOIA it.
They can't FOIA, can't do anything, and it's all locked down. So let's get to the next one. It's a classic deep state versus America UFO cover-up. We got Representative Tim Burchett once again talking with John Solomon about, it's a cover-up. And Tim Burchett's been saying this for years, and he is on target. Let's see where he's going to take this one. Here we go.
That's a great question. It could be a myriad of many things. It could be a zero energy. It could be a fact that we'd have to retool to, some of our major industry would have to retool because we had this technology. And it could be just the arrogance of we don't know what the heck we've got and don't know what to do with it, and we're not going to tell anybody about it. Which I think there's a lot of that going on with it. I think that you've got some things that we just can't understand. You see in the videos there of things that are flying at speeds that...
Hold on a second. Daryl, this is a common topic here. He talks about things we don't understand. You look at something long enough, right? Like earthquakes. You figure out the pattern of where they're going, where they're coming from, how they happen, what goes on over the time, right? You figure it out. You watch sunspots, you watch different things going on in sun, different activity that happens in the 11-year solar cycle. You get used to calling out the different things that are going to happen because you're a subject matter expert, because you've been fucking staring at this shit for years, right?
Yes.
So how is it all these intelligent analysts who all work for the federal government, and some of them are lifers who have been in there doing this, and they don't know what it is they're looking at or what's going on? That's just total as Burchett would call it, as bullshit or horse hockey or frickin' what do they call it, horse muffins or something?
Cow patties.
Yeah. It's a mess. But Tim, he's there. He's going to keep on pushing this. And the drama to a T. Here we go.
We can't achieve, and at angles that we can't turn, and the amount of times flying on the surface and then going underwater and then coming out. We've just got too much testimony and too much out there. So, and I think there's going to be some misinformation they're going to put out too in this next group of files. Sure. Intentionally to screw us up, so you'll obviously be able to see some of this stuff, obviously, that it is a balloon or some of this other stuff. I've seen some of these videos. I'm wondering why the heck they're even putting them out. But right. I think the cover-up continues, and I do believe the president and the White House, the good guys, so to speak, are having a hard time with a lot of our alphabet agencies and the deep state. It's classic deep state versus America. And I'm just grateful President Trump keeping his word to us. He said he was going to release them. He made that commitment to me, and he's followed through with it. It's just how far can we get into
So we're getting down to the point on this. They're going to give us stuff. We got more clarity. It could be a balloon or something to that degree. They know it's wrong. They're not going to give us an intelligence analysis, and they're spiking the pot to go ahead. And you know why they're doing that? They're doing it to spike the frickin' trolls like Mick West and others.
Good. Do it.
Let them. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a mess to say the least. All right. No, get past that one. We already freaking talked about that document. All right, so this one we had last night. We had part of the clip coming. We had it was kind of I caught it midstream. Thanks to Luke, told me to get on Fox and pause it. Let's watch this full extended interview going between water on Fox and the director of Disclosure. So let's get to it and see where it goes. Here we go.
Dan Fair is the director and producer of The Age of Disclosure, the film that started to shake loose the UFO files. All right, Dan, what have you heard about these different breeds of alien life?
Look, a number of the people I interviewed in my film, senior intelligence officials, went on the record saying that there have been dozens of crashed craft of non-human origin over the years, and elements of our government have recovered those crashes, and they've gotten out of that technology of non-human origin, and in some cases, non-human bodies that were on these craft. A number of the people in my film go on the record saying that the bodies were not all the same type, meaning there were multiple species.
Were the bodies alive or were they dead?
The people in my film talked about events where they were dead bodies, they were deceased bodies.
Okay, and
yeah,
there's a lot of speculation about the amount of UFO information we've been given on this first tranche. We expected more. We know there is more. Why do you think people inside the government are fighting so hard to release more?
Yeah, so the president gave his directive in middle of February, essentially instructing all federal agencies to declassify evidence of non-human intelligent life and UAP. And what happened after that is the White House had to go get that evidence out of the hands of all these federal agencies, and they all for the most part pushed back. The people who have gatekept this information for 80 years, they don't want to share it. You know, they've gotten a lot of power and control over the years, and it's just frankly not human nature for people to want to give up power and control. So there's a tug of war happening behind the scenes. There are a number of other reasons guiding their desire to keep this secret, including a general belief that the public can't handle the truth. I would argue the public can handle the truth. I think my film shows that. People aren't watching it and jumping out of windows. They're curious and they want to learn more. There's also a general feeling that, a concern that they can't tell the American public what they know and don't know without also telling our adversaries and giving them some sort of advantage. But I think that that's not really accurate. I think our adversaries know we're not alone in the universe. They know we've been recovering craft of non-human technology, non-human origin. Saying it out loud wouldn't give them any new information.
Is there
Those base
also
facts can be shared?
Like the credibility factor? You know, this is a government that's lied to us about a lot of things for a lot of years, and this was one of the big ones. You were called crazy if you even suggested anything like this. And now they're releasing files admitting that it was actually real. Are they trying to protect themselves, their own credibility?
Yeah, there's certainly an element of that. I mean, no one wants to take accountability. You know, a lot of people's lives were ruined over the years covering this up. A lot of careers were ruined. And, you know, one of the other concerns people who involved in keeping the secret have is the fact that they're worried about coming forward, sharing evidence they have, and then being punished for it, being treated like criminals. You know, and so there are members of Congress right now who are trying to put together amnesty language to give protections to these people so they can step forward more comfortably.
If they did end up releasing an image or a video of non-human life recovered from a craft, and they put that out there.
Daryl, I think we need more than a picture. I think we need to roll out the fucking body on fucking dolly.
Gurney.
Or something. You know?
I'll take an up close picture of I mean, dude, there's only one way, and that's up on these videos and the stuff that's been released, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
and you need to bring it out physically, because people are going to see a video and they're going to think it's AI at this point. They're not going to believe it. If Trump brings it out, 50% of the people already aren't going to believe it because it's coming from Trump, or 42%, 45%. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah, I believe that's what I've been hearing.
It's a mess. All right, let's continue. Here we go.
What do you think the public reaction would be?
I mean, truthfully, I think this day and age, with the rise of AI, half the country would probably think it's an AI image and not real. That's why I think, my film has moved the needle, because it's credible people putting their reputations on the line to share what they legally can. And there's real stakes to that. I think it makes much more of an impact these days when we live in a time where everyone thinks everything they see online is fake.
Do you think the president's a believer? This weekend, he posted an image of himself walking down the tarmac with an alien.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Look, I think he's learned the reality of the situation, that we're not alone in the universe. And, I think this disclosure process is happening because he's put it in motion. I know I just heard today from friends on the House Committee to Declassify Federal Secrets that there will be another 40 or so UAP videos declassified in the next 30 days. On top of that, key members of the cabinet are aggressive.
Daryl, within the next 30 days, that could mean we're not going to get a UFO dump for another month?
No, I feel like there's been a number of dumps that people are talking about.
Someone needs some more fiber. Yeah.
Yeah. You remember the old Saturday Night Live commercial? One bowl of colon blow is worth 10,000 Rice Krispies or something like that.
Oh God!
And the guy sitting on top of all the 10 million bowls of colon blow.
Anyway. Oh God! Yeah, reminds me of this really green drink that Luke made one time. It was really healthy, and neighbor Jerry, when he was here, and he called it. My God, I had that. Yes, that was the biggest freaking case of colon blow I've ever had. So.
That's a great commercial. We'll have to play that in the back chat.
Absolutely. Here we
go. Trying to find the most meaningful evidence within the federal agencies and branches of the military, so they can then decide what of that evidence can safely be declassified. And there's, this is going to be a rolling process. It's going to be a rolling disclosure.
Sorry, goddamn it.
Disclosure process.
I mean, we're seeing a video right now on the screen. I expect to see better quality videos. We've been hearing stories about craft that right degree angle, things that just you can't even conceptualize flying that way. It's a humbling.
Daryl, have we gotten to the point where they talk about craft that make 90-degree turns, and we're used to that stuff at this point? People like, oh God, they make these turns. We've never seen stuff like this before. It's like the fucking Tic Tac again.
I mean, yeah, in 2017, you had some good video evidence. The one they were just showing with the gimbal. Yeah. I mean, we're just non-believers in our government to a large extent, because and all the polls show it. I think 20% of the people trust Congress, or maybe it's even less than that. So,
all right, that sounds like a poll. I trust. Sorry, audience, we have to do this one. I trust you. I trust Congress. Yes or no? Okay, audience, this is your chance to tell us. Do you trust Congress? Wow, we already got 14%. All right, 9%. We got 38 votes in. That was quick. 9%, 8%, 10% is saying yes, they trust Congress. I don't. Do you, Daryl?
No.
No. Those money-grubbing, insider trading motherfuckers who go there not to represent the people who elected them, but the private people who gave them the money behind the scenes to give them the deals that they want. That Congress? Jay.
Yeah, I mean, it's flawed as it is. I mean, it's a flawed system. These people spend a lot of time just raising money during, the regular course of their job, a number of hours a week. You have to make a lot of promises to get that money. It's just a flawed system.
Yeah.
Yeah, and let's not forget, Daryl, about the unelected bureaucrats in the background. They're the ones also pulling strings too to the elected officials. So
you mean the ones who are in office?
They're there, shadowy figure. Like, don't say that.
So these are the people who are they're the unelected bureaucrats. They're in positions almost, if you want to call it, for their lifetime career. And they look at their leaders who come from the elected people, from the elections, the American people, as a temporary person who's going to be there that we don't have to listen to because we're actually the ones who are actually doing this stuff. And we have our own agenda, irrespective of the fucktard who's there, who's been elected.
100%, Thomas. And also, it's a fact that if Trump really wants to get to disclosure, he has to have the CIA director on his side and the director of the
DOE. DOE, Department of Energy.
Yeah, Department of Energy. He would have to have both of them on his side because doesn't it take all three of them to declassify from Department of Energy?
Ratcliffe is a person who was put there by Trump, right? He was in the last Trump administration. So I think Ratcliffe is an easy yes. The guy who's in the Department of Energy as the head, who put the person as the head of the Secretary of Energy? It was Trump.
Yeah, well, like
and if the guy doesn't do what he wants to do, he can fire him from that role and replace him.
Yeah, all he has to do is get all three of them, and then he can declassify from Department of Energy.
Whatever he wants. But they're not going to give us energy systems. They're not going to give us. They're not going to give us.
If he wanted to target like anything in Department of Energy, even if it wasn't energy related, he would still have to, have their permission to declassify out of their systems.
But if they came out and said the microchip, that came from alien ships, right? Fiber optics, we use it everywhere for the internet. It came from aliens, right? Quantum computers, that was like the central core from the computers, and we figured that stuff out too. These are all advances we've made. If they made the kind of announcements, would that really push the public needle?
They can make the announcements, but they wouldn't have the documents to back up their actual.
Yeah, well, maybe they could have the pictures to say, here's the initial shit we found in the crash craft that we gave to GE or whoever to go ahead and figure this out.
Yeah.
And by the way, let's roll it out and say, here's the original pieces so you can see them. We got them back, but we had to kill some people to get them back.
We'll see what happens, Thomas. I'm just hoping that the two other ones get in line with Trump and they make shit happen like they're supposed to.
Oh, I hope so. CIA is the one that needs to come to Jesus. But then again, Anna Polina Luna was supposedly told by the head of the CIA, John Ratcliffe, where to go find the files. But then we heard from someone else saying when the CIA was asked beyond Ratcliffe to get the data, they told him, fuck you, go talk to Arrow. In other words, pound sand.
Yeah, and then we find out that there's now an agency over Arrow. So it's a whole shit show.
I've been talking about that forever, Jay. You look at the director of Arrow, right? First you had Kirkpatrick, and then you had the other one, and then you've got Kozlowski there, right? All those people in the role. They implement the policy that their bosses tell them to do. They don't act autonomously, right? So everyone blames the head of Arrow or whatever it is. No, it's not them. It's the leadership. And if you don't change the leadership, the policies aren't going to change.
Yeah, 100%, Thomas. And it's going to continue with the same path as long as we have the same unelected people in there. I mean, the elected people, they can only go so far. We have to get these unelected people out of there.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how we do that. I don't know. What do we talk to the congressman and say, you need to vet your staff better? I don't even know how that works.
I don't know.
These unelected people telling the congressman in a meeting what they can and can't do.
Yeah. That seems to be the piece, my friend. That seems to be the piece. All right. let's get back to, if I can see if I can find the one we were just on. I think we're about here in this video. Let's see the end of this coming from Dan Farah, and then we'll get on to our next clip. God, happy frickin' Thursday, everybody. We will keep this going daily until the fat lady sings. Was it, Daryl?
Did you just say happy Thursday?
Oh, Tuesday. I'm sorry. I wish it was Thursday.
Thomas. Holy shit.
Tuesday.
It's a blur, okay? It's a blur. I'm sorry.
Really?
Over the years, and elements, this is going to be a roll that's happening because it can safely be declassified. And there's, this is going to be a rolling process. It's going to be a rolling disclosure process.
I mean, we're seeing a video right now on the screen. I expect to see better quality videos. We've been hearing stories about craft that right degree angle, things that just you can't even conceptualize flying that way. It's a humbling experience for the human race. That has to be a major issue here, almost a religious issue.
Yeah, look, some people say.
We heard the R word, Daryl.
Oh, it's going to come up at some point.
This has to be a religious issue. No, it doesn't.
You know what? We need to have like 2 drinking words because I haven't heard a lot of national security tonight.
I know. And I'm just drinking for our own version of national security when they say it. My God. Yeah, they haven't been saying it, so religion and everything else. Okay, national security, everybody. I'll set a timer on Google. I wonder if I can do a repeating timer for every 2 minutes. All right. Religion, no. We need to keep this out of religion. We need to keep it out of religion. Please. Check your religion at the door, and we will deal with this. But, Otter, what are you talking?
How did the poll turn out? It looks like the poll's still pinned to the...
Oh, it is. Oh, I guess it didn't end it. We have 130 votes in. I trust Congress. Thank you very much. I didn't pay attention to it. I didn't have the music playing to tell me to stop. All right, what are our audience? Come on this one. I trust Congress. With 130 votes in, we did it for 8 minutes, 7 minutes too long, but the numbers are about the same. 13% of our audience says I trust Congress. 87% says no, I don't. That is a new record in its own. How much we need to vote those fucktards who are in office out of there.
But then you just get more fucktards. I mean, it's an endless cycle of fucktardia. there's just, I mean, as much as I trust Tim Burchett, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Tim Burchett. I'm just saying that he has probably had to bend a few ways in order to get money and do things. I feel like he's a really good guy. But I mean, I hear so many stories of politicians that go into politics and they're all white knights to begin with. And then at some point,
that's racist.
At some point, they're rolled into an airport hangar with exotic cars, tons of cash, and, admission to Harvard for your kids. And you're asked to pick one. I mean, I've heard literally stories like this from politicians that were starting off as decent people.
Yeah.
But they get corrupted.
And it kind of brings...
Yeah. It seems to be that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's a fucking mess.
It's people.
Special interest. But you know what? You look at all the protests that have been happening across the country about Trump. It's being funded by communists from outside of this country. That's the problem. They'll never learn.
Wait. What?
They'll never learn.
What about communists?
We'll talk about it after the show. I don't want to piss off the. I don't want to piss off the audience talking about the DNC
party. Another reason to join the after party. Sorry, my Godzilla movie lips are not really keeping up with.
I got you. Yeah. Quick, run! It's Rogan. Run for your lives. All right, so here we've got a clip coming in. Actually, we've got Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp, 2 favorite people from Gene Sticko. He absolutely loves these guys. He just really does. No, he doesn't. Let's go ahead and let's see if I can just piss him off enough to jump on the show to say no, I don't like him. All right, so let's go ahead and play this clip coming to us from our friends over on YouTube, actually from CNN. God, we never see CNN covering UFOs. It's got to be something's going on if they're covering it, Daryl.
Yeah, I like all two of their viewers wants to see something about UFOs.
I watch CNN. How many people are going to respond to that one?
Yeah, get a T-shirt that says that, and
okay, I'll start that survey during this question. Here we go, folks. Let's enjoy.
Corbell is an investigative journalist who helped obtain and release the DoD footage of
Hold on, I need to go to YouTube to actually play this.
UFOs.
Okay, it sounds like water talking. What the fuck is up with that? Okay, just give me a second to fix the video. They like having fucking rainbow-colored curtains in our glass tiles. Okay, here we go. Let's play it again. Should be able to hear it fine.
I'm afraid he's going to die.
Years ago, I went searching for the truth about UFOs, and I found it.
That's a clip from the trailer for Sleeping Dog, a new documentary billed as the culmination of a decades-long investigation of UFOs and UAPs, or unidentified anomalous phenomena. The documentary's release comes just as the Pentagon published never-before-seen files on reported sightings of those UAPs going back decades. And new files are set to be declassified on a rolling basis. Joining me now is Jeremy Corbell, investigative journalist whose work is featured in Sleeping Dog. He also co-hosts the Weaponized podcast. Jeremy, welcome to The Story Is.
Thanks for having me again.
Congrats on the new movie. Tell us the basic premise of it.
Sure. It's a very personal movie to me. Sleeping Dog kind of drops at a strangely perfect moment. The government is finally being forced to show what it's hid for decades. And this film is the story of that. It kind of examines, I guess, the larger battle of hidden evidence, whistleblower testimony, government secrecy, and it kind of brings all of that into public view. It is my personal journey looking at that as a journalist with George Knapp.
And the battle for journalism to get access, including lots of threats.
Yeah, the film exists because the government chose silence, and we were provoking change with this. You do see in the film some of what has happened to the whistleblowers and journalists that have pursued this over time. I'd say intelligence agencies have stepped way out of bounds.
So last week we had this historic release of UFO files, finally, something you've been pushing for a long time. What was your big takeaway from that?
Yeah, 500 million visits in the first 24 hours. So that's not curiosity, that's a mandate. The public is finally
500
demanding.
million. So they posted this online, and there were 500 million visits to the government's website to look at this information.
Absolutely. And it just shows how the public is ready for the truth. They're hungry. They have an appetite for the truth on whatever UAP represent.
And there was one thing in particular that you wanted to point out, and this is in some of your evidence, which is featured in your documentary. This was a UAP over Syria back in 2021, and we see the motion of it. Describe what we're looking at here.
Sure. So this is footage that George Knapp and I obtained and we put out to the public. We were able to verify the source and authenticity. And it is our duty as journalists to put that out responsibly. So we did. This was actually not in the government releases, but what it shows is astounding. It shows, in our own government's words, instantaneous acceleration, something that should be impossible. There's no visible sign of propulsion. And what you're seeing is actually a government investigation, their examination, and their authenticating this and labeling it UAP with instantaneous acceleration. There's nothing in our hardware that can do this. This outperforms anything in our inventory, and that should concern every American.
So we know that the government is going to be releasing more information, likely in the next 30 days. What do you expect to see from them, and what kind of pressure campaign are you going to put on them to make sure that they release it?
Right. Well, I think it's the court of public opinion. Everybody sees how popular this is, that people are ready for the truth, that they want the truth. They've been hungry for this. It is now obvious our government has been lying to us about their own study of UAP. They've admitted they exist, but we've had people hand up swearing under oath in Congress that not only are there craft, but there were pilots, bodies. There are beings associated with these craft. And if these people are to be believed who are standing up in front of Congress, we have that evidence. We also have evidence of exploitation programs, so reverse engineering of these craft. So what we're getting is a very slow beginning to what I hope is going to be a much more robust process of informing the American public about the UFO reality and presence.
Well, the documentary literally just released like an hour or two ago. And this is your first interview you've done since its release. And it's fitting because the documentary starts with you interviewing with me, which I was surprised to see. The whole thing starts with that and my previous employer. So it's great to see that as part of it as well. It was cool to see that cameo. Congratulations on the documentary. People can check it out right now at Amazon and Apple and get it wherever they get VOD. Jeremy Corbell, congratulations on this and plenty more to talk about in the weeks and months ahead as more of these disclosures come out.
Yeah, man. Journalism at its core, it doesn't just report on power, it moves it. So watch Sleeping Dog closely. It's going to provoke more releases.
It already has. Jeremy Corbell, I don't think we would have had this release if it wasn't for you. Thank you so much. We'll be back with more of the story right after this.
Yeah, and he's provoking disclosure, so that's a good thing. Oh, apparently there's no sound, Thomas, on your end.
Sorry, I did it again. I did it again. I turned it down. There was too much audio coming through and I needed to hear it, but it was causing some issues. Yes, I was going ahead and complaining. Yes, here we go. We've got this. Coming up on our next clip, we've got this stuff going on. Sorry, it's my fault. My fault. You got your dog a haircut, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. He went to the beauty shop this weekend.
Yeah. Looks like it. Moose needs a trip to the table so I can fucking scalp his ass. So... All right, he looks great. Okay, so yesterday we played a clip coming from Weaponized podcast, but it was actually a Weaponized live interview that happened down at the McMinnville UFO Festival. Now, one of the friends of the channel who's in the back now but remains silent is Tim Seener. And he shared this video clip with us. Now, yesterday we played the first 15 minutes, and today we're going to play the next 15 minutes so you can hear the last of this because this hasn't really been published anywhere. So here we go, folks. Yes, no, I just get distracted. I run up and I do things around the house, and sometimes I forget to go to OBS and literally to drag the audio back up when I've muted myself, so it's not like I have a big button that I could press. I guess we need to have that like Trump has, a big button. Turn the mic on and off. That would work perfectly. On that note, let's go ahead and get to this clip. Let's enjoy, folks. And thank you, Tim Seener, for sharing this with us here. Did he fart on you?
No, he's coughing. He's got something
Oh,
you all right? I'm going to take him outside real quick.
All right, take care of it. Let's watch this. Here we go.
Really, I think, fighting for the truth, but under the direction of a number of other people. However, during that process...
Hold on, wait. Here we go.
Did you watch the Matthew Brown Weaponized where he told you his experiences as a whistleblower just trying to go in and testify to the government about what happened? Did you hear what he said? Yeah, he said they tried to make him a villain. They told me he lied to me and George. They told me he made up Immaculate Constellation. Little did they know that George and I did our homework. Little did they know that we already knew about all that stuff.
Okay, audio, hold on.
They did.
He got that information while he was at a Jewish wedding.
He did. So that's it's so funny. It hurts my heart to call you guys and tell you when people are trying to entrap you and arrest you and put you into treason. But anyway, I called Matt, and he was at a Jewish wedding, and he's like, I'm part Jewish. He's like, what do you mean? And I go, that's not me. I didn't say that. They said, you said you're a Jew hater. And I said, so I recorded everything, and it's just like, it's so sad to me. It's sad to me that they're trying to make me and George do the dirty work to you and tell you these guys are full of shit. You know, when people like Dylan have served their country, I know Dylan, man. He served his country. And he served you, and he's an honest human. They're not trying to get anything out of this. They're just trying to tell you what's up.
Over the months that these conversations continued, they slimed everyone. They slimed every witness who came in. Told us why they're bad people, why they can't be trusted. All of them. Lou Elizondo, James Lakatsky, Jay Stratton, why they can't be trusted. So we have not seen the final report. I'm not sure the public will ever see the final report. It hasn't been made public. I'm not even sure Congress will get it. But we have a general, pretty good idea about what is in that report, and it's not very complimentary about the topic. We believe and suspected from the beginning that after we figured out what the agenda was, that the real purpose of this OVNI investigation, as it's being led by the director's underlings, was to cut the legs off of congressional interest in the topic, to get the media to not take it seriously, to get Congress to back off and focus on something more important and something legitimate.
So we're telling you behind the scenes, an intelligence agency comes to journalists like me and George and they're like, do you have willing participants? And we're like, yeah, of course we do. Everybody wants to sell. You say words like treason about Dylan Borland? That happened. Oh, that happened. And so I've kind of done, as a journalist with George, we've documented what's said to us, right? That's what we do. We have to protect ourselves and protect other people. But bottom line is this, I have some hard questions right now, and I don't know if Dylan can answer them. But I'm gonna ask them, and that's what's up. So Dylan testified.
Hopefully the questions are the only thing hard.
Behind closed doors. So did Matthew Brown, to a lot of people other than Hand Up in America, like in hearings. Matthew Brown has not been given his day yet. I cannot wait until Matthew Brown can raise his hand under oath and testify to you, the American public, and say it like it is. George Knapp and I tried to bring you 12 of the 46 videos in the hearing where they completely, George and I were supposed to testify, the hearing before George testified. I said, here's the 12 videos. They tried to get us into a skiff. My lawyer called me. He goes, don't go. I was in the shower, and Rep. Luna called me and says, you know I'm not in that skiff, right? And I'm like, what? And so I had talked with them saying we were going to bring videos. But when you have possession and you go into a skiff, they will immediately reverse classify anything that you have so you can't report on it. So we did not go into the skiff, and you did not get to see those videos in the hearing before the last one that George and Dylan talked about. In fact, they did a switcheroo on you. They had a paid-for journalist that they wanted you to trust. That's why I was pissed. Everybody wonder why I was pissed? One, because somebody turned in my homework. Because they wanted you to trust somebody who was untrustworthy, not worthy of your trust. So here we are. Here are the big questions. What did Dylan Borland testify to? And how can we say it to you legally right now? I have an idea.
Oh my God, he's looking at him like, what the fuck are you doing to me right now? I wish I could zoom in, but the image quality isn't there. But he looks like he's just like giving a blank stare like it's an 8-bit video game character, but it works. Yes, Daryl, you're holding your microphone.
Oh no, I didn't know if you were going to call on me, so I had my hand on the mute button.
All right.
Yes, Dylan Borland, you look silly.
No,
Do you have anything to say? Because I'm about to go.
I zoomed him in. There we go. This is where he's leaning back, saying, "Don't ask the questions, please."
Yeah.
Poor
guy.
So I'm just a bearded, tattooed
Fucking video went and
money for the cafeteria.
Okay, great. my lawyer said I could say this.
I want to be getting clear. You guys are journalists. I will protect national security.
Okay, so as
in national security, we finally got it.
I've been exposed to certain things, and here's the deal tonight. Our lawyer, I talked with our lawyer in the hotel right before we came here. I was told by an OVNI agent that Dylan testified to ICIG, the police of the intelligence agencies, that there is a UFO program, and it's called Rubik's Cube. That's what he said. That's what I heard from the OVNI, which they shouldn't be calling me and telling me what was described in a skiff, should they? Right. So I'm a journalist.
What the fuck, Daryl? No, they should not be going ahead and telling someone like Jeremy Corbell what was said in the skiff. Whoever was doing that from the ODNI is putting people's life at risk. That's what you'd call a leaker. And even if we think it's great and that's going on, why did he say it's from the ODNI? Why did he specifically bring it down to a very small group of people?
Yeah, I don't know what he's trying to prove. Is my audio synced? Just curious. Just curious. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
It's a little bit behind.
So, okay, I just saw something pop up. I'm like, all right, never mind.
No.
But yeah, I still don't know what to make of this whole thing with him just hiding behind, back there. I mean, is that what he's saying in his?
He's
mind,
apparently he's a really introverted guy. I think there's someone in the back who could tell us about that, even off of camera. But he's an introverted guy, and he's just someone who's kind of forced into going ahead and bringing this out. He's, definitely in a time of financial strait right now. They may have had to, get him outfits to go ahead and on stage, so he looked halfway decent. A lot of these whistleblowers, Dylan here and Matthew Brown, are all running into horrible financial straits. They're trying to find jobs, trying to go ahead and make ends meet, but they're just having a hard time dealing with the amount of PTSD they're dealing with and trying to, have a life besides that.
Yeah, it ain't easy.
No, it's
for
not.
Any of these guys.
Yeah. And they're afraid. I mean, Dylan was talked to on the street, and he's just afraid to talk about anything because he's concerned that everything's being listened to wherever he's at. And it's just, Mike was tough on him the other day and said, I don't believe him and everything else that's going on. But, considering all the personal strife and everything that he's going through, he's not in here gloating this or goading it. He's just kind of like, I mean, my God, he's got like his hands, he's covering his face.
Yeah, well, I think it has to do with what you were just saying, what Corbell was about to say here. Oh, you should probably just play it.
All right.
Let everybody else figure it out.
Play it.
So I listened, and I testified to you, believe me or not. I'm a bearded tattoo journalist with a great mentor. You don't need to believe me. Project Rubik's Cube. Dylan, I'm not even going to look at you. Have you ever testified to ICIG about a UAP program containing UAP called Project Rubik's Cube?
Let me collect my thoughts. Yes or no? I am not in a skiff. I am not going to jail. I can either confirm or deny, but if you want me to answer that question, ask for amnesty for the whistleblowers, as Congress and the executive branch should give it to us, and I'll answer that question gladly.
What the fuck are you doing here then?
This is the thing where, now that Congress is open about its interest in the topic and it's asking whistleblowers to come forward, the media, a greater number of media at least than in years past, are covering it. The UFO public is demanding it, calling for it, promising to protect whistleblowers. Don't worry, you won't go to prison. We'll rise up in unison and decry any kind of prosecutions. And good luck. You owe it to the world to come forward and say this. Well, the reality is different for those people because it disrupts their lives. Dylan hasn't shared all the information about what's happened to his life, his wife's marriage and their life together. Matthew Brown hasn't told the full story about what it's been like for him and other people. It's been miserable. You know you're under surveillance. You know that your employment opportunities are limited. Maybe you have a classification still, a security clearance, but you're never going to work in those programs again. You were held in limbo for months, right?
4 years.
Yeah, where you couldn't leave and couldn't go anywhere else, and you knew you weren't going to stay for very long. It was like intolerable to not know from one day to another whether you had a paycheck coming in anymore.
I agree.
So it's easy.
Daryl, I'm sorry your hand is up. I was off refilling on a national security issue.
Lucky. What I was going to say, back when when Dylan finished what he was saying.
Yes.
Somebody else also caught it. John Attitude. You hear a guy yell after he says, I can't release any of this information, but if whistleblower amnesty happens, I'll tell you. And there's a guy, you can hear a guy off to the right, because the lady in front looks off to the right, yell, well, what the fuck are you doing here then? I'm wondering if that was Tim. No, I'm just kidding. But no. I'm sure Tim heard it because it's off of his phone.
Well, Tim, did you hear that? God, nothing.
Oh, there he is. Yep.
Is he going to answer?
Yeah, no, I did hear that he was off to the side, but that guy was actually dressed as a predator. So I'm not too sure if his opinion is super heavy. Yeah, a lot of people were kind of pushy and kind of pushing Dylan to say things that he obviously was not comfortable talking about. Jeremy was putting him on the spot, and they hadn't rehearsed it. Dylan did not agree to talk about what he's about to talk about. So the next few minutes is really uncomfortable for him.
So it even gets worse.
And yeah, some of the audience members do get a little
rowdy,
uptight with the fact that he can't directly answer.
Well, it's like Lou.
So he has to roundabout answer.
It's like Lou, kind of. Lou can never directly answer a lot of questions because of the security and national security. And, he holds national security and country like up there with God. Right?
Yeah, I just think it's interesting that guy yells that, because the guy's dressed as a predator.
Like from Alien and Predator.
What are these people? I guess you're going to attract all kinds of people, no matter what you're involved in.
There's furries everywhere, or cartoonies, whatever you want to call it. People who like to dress up as other things. Hopefully, that's the only time they like to dress up when they're going out.
It's the only time when I dress up.
Yeah. Here we go.
To go ahead from in the UFO bleachers, come on, whistleblowers, come forward, we got your back. There's nobody helping whistleblowers. There's no fund to help whistleblowers to get them through the hard times that are inevitable when they come forward. And, I'm glad to hear the public interested and Congress interested, but there's nobody stepping up really to actually help them get through what is a painful, dangerous period of their lives.
I've had people call me and say they're creating a whistleblower fund. I go, what the fuck you created? You're a rich person. There are whistleblowers that literally are going to go get bank teller jobs, and they're highly, highly trusted with American secrets. Like, they need help now. They've had to move home. I don't want to spill secrets, but whistleblowers have had to move homes because they couldn't make the paycheck for the rent. And I'm like, why you guys are these rich people creating these whistleblower funds, why don't you help the people that have testified? By the way, So it's such an awkward turtle, you know, the upside down turtle. It's like an awkward situation. But I'm just starting, so I got to get through these points with Dylan, and I don't know how this is going to go. I don't want to look at you. So I'm going to just testify as a journalist to what George and I were directly told, because this stuff is supposed to be classified. But if they tell me, I have never signed an oath. I have never worked for the government. Neither have George. Doesn't matter what they say, we're journalists, so let's fucking go. You ready? Yeah! Okay. So my next question is very, very simple. So you went, Dylan, you can affirm this, you went to the ICIG, the Police of the Intelligence Agency, and you did a formal complaint with a baller lawyer, and you told them about your exposure to UAP information. Can you just say yes or no about that?
Absolutely yes.
Okay, great. So I am assuming, because I was told by OVNI, that one of those programs is called Project Rubik's Cube, and you can't confirm that. I'm going to move on. I was told, actually I was asked to try to entrap Dylan. When George and I did the filming of Weaponized and he drew the triangle, did Dylan draw anything else? And I said, no. Why? And my lawyer's like, stop talking with Odie and I go, no. I want to find out what they're saying. So a prime investigator, Odie and I, said to me, did Dylan tell you about the pyramid power source? And I go, no, tell me more. What are you talking about? He's never said that. And he didn't. Dylan's a patriot. He's careful. He hasn't done Dobson. So my question to Dylan, in front of you, I don't want to look at him, is real simple. Did you draw an image of a non-human intelligence pyramid power source, maybe at Pax River, for the...
Did you see what he just said there, Daryl? Or Tim? I saw what he said. Motherfucker. Oh my God. Let me just rewind back a couple seconds.
For the ODNI, did you? Yes or no?
I repeat the answer that I gave you for the name of a program that I can either confirm or deny. I can either confirm or deny that right now. I will gladly answer that if the executive branch in Congress gives me amnesty.
If the executive branch in Congress gives you...
Maybe Asperger's or something. I've worked for programmers who are really smart and they communicate in different ways. This guy's really smart. But he looks fucking terrified right now. Absolutely. Which, if okay, I need to get on camera. The scariest thing about this is Jeremy's asking the question about stuff clearly that he has told Jeremy flat out.
Yeah.
And now he's asking him in public the question about the stuff that Jeremy should not know about to the guy that told it to him. And you can't say Jeremy's just coming up with this shit as an idea, right?
Yeah, I think maybe Tim can give a little color on this either now or later, but Dylan seems very agitated through this whole thing to the point where I'm sure some people are probably sitting there going, this looks like acting.
No, but
I think some people have said that. But I would say that I would echo what you just said about different people. They just
I had a really smart guy work for me. He headed up he was my director of technology, building all of our game engines. Right. He was very peculiar in just how he acted and everything, but he was super intelligent, super smart. But sometimes you have people who just interact with stressors and different things in different ways. And that doesn't make him wrong because it doesn't fit our societal norms. It's just who he is. But if you just watch him here, watch how he goes from this into everything. Look at Jeremy there looking up saying, okay, I'm going to ask him the question and freak him out.
It also makes me wonder if they haven't had a couple shots before this whole this whole deal, because they all seem kind of a little bit loose.
Yeah. George looks like he's having a really good time.
Yeah. Like taking the best.
Okay, I need to bring.
Right
where is that at? Oh, not that one. There we go. George is having a good time. Dylan is freaking out, and Jeremy is just like, I am going to ask the question to freak everybody out.
Yeah. And it's like everybody's been loosened up a little bit. Probably too loose for Dylan.
All right, so I've just fucked with the scale of this completely. Once I drop it, I can't rescale it, so I'm going to move it around. Let's check this out and watch Dylan up close as we play this.
For the media Pax pyramid power source, non-human intelligence. Pyramid power source, maybe a Pax River. For
that's where he said, motherfucker.
OVNI, did you? Yes or no?
I repeat the answer that I gave you.
Hold on, I need to find. There we go. I got it now. Okay.
For the name of a program that I can either confirm or deny, I can either confirm or deny that right now. I will gladly answer that if the executive branch in Congress gives me amnesty.
If the executive branch in Congress.
I mean, does that look like acting to you? I've known people. I've seen that expression before, and that it could be, but.
I mean, it could be anything. I think I'm sure everybody in this. Well, no, I'm not sure about everybody, but I'm sure a lot of people have been in a situation where you're sitting around with your friends. You've had a few drinks.
Yeah.
And, one guy starts probing and, trying to.
I know, but it comes down to they had private conversations going on between this guy and this guy in private. And now when you're in public in front of all these people, this guy is bringing up these things, asking you these questions in front of everybody else. And it fucking freaks you out.
Yeah. It's what I've been in this situation before where you're asking questions you know the answer to, the whole point of trying to embarrass you in front of a bunch of people.
Right.
It's common behavior among some people.
Yeah.
Some real dickheads, actually. But
it is. I see this as, what the fuck are you saying? Why are you doing this to me? It's just like, there's a lot of emotion.
Gives you amnesty.
I can either confirm or deny. If I'm legally allowed to answer that, I would love to.
You would love to?
Do so.
You'd love to answer that question?
Absolutely.
Answer it. No, bro. Stop.
Yes or no?
No. Dylan is my friend. He came forward, apparently, George and I learned through ODNI about non-human intelligence, a pyramid-shaped object that is a power source of non-human intelligence. I didn't learn that from Dylan. I learned that from ODNI.
I mean, he won't even look at Jeremy when he's saying that. He's looking off to the side. He wants to be no part of it. He should have just gotten up and walked off the stage.
God, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Although I've been, like I said before, I've been in these situations with myself and other people that, it does become a little bit of play acting because you know where he's going. And so he's already turned his head to the other side, knowing that where he's going.
I don't see anger. People are saying he looks pissed. I don't see anger at all. I see... I see someone being really fucking upset.
Non-human intelligence.
He's looking...
Pyramid power source.
Motherfucker.
Maybe a Pax River. For the ODNI, did you? Yes or no?
Contemplating that, hey, I could be going to jail for this at this point.
Didn't they make a video about this though? Isn't he the one who's in the the hospital unit, he goes out to smoke a cigarette and sees this thing. Yeah. I mean, this is out in the public. It's been out in the public.
Right,
so
but no, some of the other stuff that Jeremy's bringing out right now was not in the public.
What? I mean, he's just describing that whole scenario that just...
No, he's talking about an energy source. That wasn't anywhere.
Oh, but the pyramid was...
The pyramid energy source was nowhere.
So that's... Okay. I thought there were one and the same thing.
No, not at all.
All right.
Hey, Thomas, is it okay if I jump in real quick?
Yeah,
I
take it.
Another big... Yeah, I think a big pointer here that they're trying to lay out really clearly is that the ODNI tried to entrap this whistleblower and get him for treason, right? And the fact is if they'd successfully done that, he would be liable for a death penalty. And so he is shaking his boots over that,
no
whether
shit.
you believe his story or not. Right, and so he's looking for amnesty so he can actually tell the story transparently.
Right, but the biggest problem is you've got Jeremy going ahead and taking part of this overall conversation, right? And he's repeating stuff that he was told, that he told in a skiff. And by him repeating the stuff with him right next to it, he's in hot water.
Right. I get that. Well, here's the thing, though. The reason Jeremy knows about those two drawings, not the one drawing about the triangle, but the other two drawings that he's about to describe, is because the ODNI person asked Jeremy if Dylan had told him about that, in hopes that Jeremy would say yes or no, or this or that, or give something up. It was to try and trap him. And of course, they're recording the conversations.
Right. But the problem was, I guess...
That's really... Go ahead.
You're right. The problem comes down to not him. It's the leaker from the ODNI. Right?
Yes.
That's the person who gave him the information to Jeremy about what he's doing, and he's freaking him out because he's talking about stuff that he's not allowed to talk about, but he was told by a leaker.
Right. And Jeremy is prepared to name names, right? Because
there's zero proof of all this stuff, I guess.
Necessary.
You know.
Well, no. So yes, there is proof because Jeremy records everything.
Oh, true.
And so I do know that tape exists of this conversation that we're hearing about. Otherwise, he wouldn't be talking about it. Right. And here's the thing. I'm neutral on this. I'm just reporting it. But I have to say, being in the room with this guy did not feel like he was lying. I had time one-on-one with this whistleblower. He did not seem anything but scared for his life. And he definitely believes his story.
Yeah.
Whether it's in the UFO or
and
not.
I've had people similar to Dylan who've...
And yeah.
No, I'm just looking at it. I'm just looking at the guy. I'm a pretty good judge of people, honestly. I've had tech people similar to Dylan who have worked with me, and I recognize some of the behaviors and patterns that I've seen in the past. So Huskers, Thomas, you're smarter than this. Come on, stop. No. Okay, either he's just a really, really good faker actor, which I don't think he is. He's going through a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that people out in the audience that I can't talk about that he's going through right now. And things that are going on. It's just when you have a lot of personal stress on top of the PTSD from this shit that you're dealing with and everything that you're fighting along with, and then you've got things that are going around, you're gonna... He's a younger guy. He hasn't been through a lot of shit yet. He's not,
and I'll just leave it... Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I would leave it at that, whether it was a UFO or not that he experienced and filmed and photographed, I would have to say it's kind of irrelevant. It's more the experience and how he was handled when he tried to tell the truth.
Right.
Because they definitely, do not want this exposed for whatever reason.
They want complete control. No loose ends. They've had the process going on, but now when someone's completely in a spotlight, it's kind of hard to take them out, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe that's the whole idea, is to have him very much in the public with this at this point. You know, and George and Jeremy do definitely care about these whistleblowers.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell.
Yeah.
It's a genuine care. So, you know, take it as it is. You know, it's just another little piece in the puzzle.
Yeah.
It's an interesting case, and you know, definitely take everything with a grain of salt.
Everything.
We don't know
You can't get behind
This is
anything.
just how this was handled.
You know, take everything with the proper measure.
Absolutely.
You know, we could, you know,
Please
there's
you got it.
Dr. Dan, the UAP doctor over on X, will put this out there, has put out a tweet basically going ahead and saying we're getting a big drop before the holiday, for the holiday weekend. That'd be nice. And if that's the case, it'll happen sometime on Friday. If not, we wait till the next week. Don't get your hopes up, but something could be happening. On that note, let's get back to this. All right, so Huskers is saying again, let me go ahead and deal with this. Hold on a second. Huskers now saying, Dylan is obviously going through a lot, but not because of what Jeremy Corbell asked. This was a great interview and got what it needed. Needed to open the FFS. Make sense, Tim? Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure what FFS is. Do you? Huskers, what is FFS? For fuck's sake. Okay, into the open for fuck's sake. Right, there we go. Oh, what am I doing? Okay, so for fuck's sake.
Sam F7C5Z is for FCK sake. Marcus Mandel.
Oh shit, hold on.
48 sake. Lord Malpass says, "Cats are like UFOs. You want to know what?"
Oh shit. I turned on text to speech.
That's what my dad does because he's got glaucoma, man. I can always, whenever he's around, I can always hear when he's reading the news.
Yeah, but I just killed my chat and everything else. I had all my history and the whole bit for the show. All my super chats and everything, god damn it. Oh well, I've got a different way to get to that. Let's get back to watch the rest of this, everybody. Here we go.
I repeat the answer that I gave you for the name of a program that I can either confirm or deny. I can either confirm or deny that right now. I will gladly answer that if the executive branch in Congress gives me amnesty.
If the executive branch in Congress gives you amnesty,
I can either confirm or deny. If I am legally allowed to answer that, I would love to.
You would love to?
Do so.
You'd love to answer that question?
Absolutely.
Answer it. No, bro. Stop.
Yes or no?
No. Dylan is my friend. He came forward, apparently, George and I learned through ODNI about non-human intelligence, a pyramid-shaped object that is a power source of non-human intelligence. I didn't learn that from Dylan. I learned that from ODNI. Is that true? I don't know, but he seems to want to answer. And he's asking Congress for amnesty. And he'll answer it in front of the American public. Got another question. Are you ready for it? Okay. I'm not going to look at you. George and I are curious cat. George is like, do you know Felix the cat? Yeah. He had like a bag, and in the bag he's like a bunch of stuff. The curiosity killed the cat? Hell no. Curiosity weaponized the cat. George and I got a question. Dylan, Borland, this is the craziest thing I heard from ODNI.
That broke.
Did you draw a hieroglyph that you understood was on that pyramid power source? Can you tell us if you went to ODNI and drew them an image of not only the pyramid, but a hieroglyph that was on the pyramid, which would be really weird? Did you draw that image for them?
I unfortunately am going to repeat the same thing because I am not going to jail. I can neither confirm or deny.
Okay, let me back up 1 second. So what you're not saying is if you're given amnesty, that you would answer mine and George's question on if there was a power source that was a pyramid in shape, a triangle from an angle of observation, George, and there was a hieroglyphic kind of image, which is a weird thing, on that power source of non-human intelligence, you would tell the truth to America under oath, standing in front of Congress. Would you do that if they give you amnesty?
I would tell the truth about everything you just asked without hesitation.
Fuck. Okay, one more question. Last question. So, George, what I want to highlight now, we have not scripted this, we're not ready for this, but I happen to know, and you happen to know, that there was an attempt to entrap, which is legal, by the way, to a federal agency to entrap somebody. I believe ODNI, or maybe not ODNI, Arrow, or somebody tried to fabricate that Dylan drew a fourth, because by the way, I was told those two drawings exist, that he drew a pyramid, that he drew, which was the power source, and that he drew a hieroglyph in the ICIG and to Arrow. And that's what he drew, and he told about Project Rubik's Cube, but I was told something else. And now I know that it's fake, it's not true. It's a lie about Dylan, and I'm gonna bring it up tonight. But before we go there, George, so I believe Dylan, they were trying to entrap him by falsifying evidence for treason against him. How do we open this, George? I don't know where to go. You're my mentor. Let's go, motherfucker.
Well, I just looked at the time, and I know that our audience wants to answer questions. No, I'm not doing that as a dodge. I'm just saying that I know you guys want to ask some questions of Dylan, some of which he might be able to answer, and some not. So if you want to ask him one,
I want one last thing, because this is the kind of the point for me tonight. I called our lawyer Chuck McCullough tonight. Here's the deal. I was told that Dylan Borland
National Security
a photograph that is highly sensitive, and it is part of national security, and he's not allowed to put that out. And he mistook it as UFO and alien related, and it was a sensor system. So here's my question. I think Dylan can answer. Dylan, you can say yes or no to this, dude. Did you draw a fourth image for the ICIG when you gave your UFO whistleblower complaint that was a sensor system, and what would that look like, and how would you draw that?
Not only did I never draw that, I don't know how to draw that. And when our DNI person had called me to accuse me of it, I asked to immediately come in the skiff and see it for my own two eyes and to understand who made the claim. And that is why not only did I get accused of committing treason, which is a lifetime statute of limitations with a death penalty. As soon as I asked to come in and see it, he immediately ghosted me and cut all contact. So no, not at all.
So you didn't draw a fourth drawing?
There is no such thing.
Okay, but did you draw three?
I did draw. Well, I can't answer that. I've said I drew one triangle, the triangle I saw at Langley, and two other drawings.
You can say that?
Yes.
What the fuck am I doing? You can literally say what I just asked you, those questions?
No, different. I can say I drew a triangle and I made two other drawings that were classified.
So they classified Dylan's drawings that he didn't draw, okay? But I just want to really drive this home, and then George is right, we're going to questions, but I want you to know, George and I as journalists are witnesses with evidence to something. What we are witnesses to evidence of is ODNI told us. Now, were they lied to? I don't know. I don't want to vilify ODNI. There's some good people at ODNI. But they told me on the phone, if you trust me, I'm telling you, and I have evidence. They told me that Dylan Borland drew a sensitive sensor system that was classified, and they wanted to see if he drew it for me and George to try to get him in jail under treason. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then they told me about this sensor system. Now here's the deal. I asked Dylan, did you draw a sensor system? He goes, how would you draw that? No, I didn't. And in fact, He said, my whole ICIG drawings were filmed. So get the film. And I've seen the text where he's trying to get them to bring him in. He said, what are you saying to the fourth drawing? What are you saying? Let me come in and clarify. Odie and I's calling me and be like, oh, we're going to bust him. I'm like, bust him how? He didn't draw a fourth drawing. And guess what? They never let him come in and validate himself. They never let him come in. So what are they running? What are they running? What is that individual or those individuals, what are they running to try to get him for treason just because he told you about UFOs? He saw one at a base with his hand up. That's what we're up against. And I hope I made my point. I hope you understand. But George and I are journalists, as witnesses. They tried to get Dylan Borland, Matthew Brown, Lou Elizondo, and Jay Stratton for crimes they didn't commit to stop them from telling you about UFOs. Do you understand?
Yes.
Fuck yeah. And then David Rush. David Rush was the apex predator here. Yeah. They tried to get him. They tried to get me to get him. They tried to turn me and George on him. David Rush been telling you how it is, how he knows it since day one. He leaned over at a bar to George and said, I need somebody I can trust. He went to George, and I have a film. So they're trying to tell you that UFOs ain't real. Well, guess what? 46 videos coming. Let's go to Q&A.
There we go on that one. Huskers, you have your hand up, my friend.
You're muted.
All right, perfect. Thank you for the heads up. No, it's been a while since I've been on the show, Thomas. Glad to see everything is still going well. I watched that, and I have a hard time seeing anything other than Jeremy and Dylan being in a rehearsed conversation where they're able to get some things out that they wouldn't be able to get out otherwise. Jeremy asking questions about things that Dylan can either confirm nor deny, and I think it's a win for Disclosure. So
yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. It's just putting Dylan in a dangerous situation. That's all.
100%. I mean, also the fact that he's doing, he's talking outside of doing anything with Dopser. He's in a very dangerous situation, and I think I speak for everybody when I say that we all hope that he is, safe and is able to be protected, because there's a lot of shit going on with anybody who's wanted to actually discuss anything, especially that doesn't go through Dopser. And man, he's one of the guys that I would say, between him and
Jay
Matt,
Stratton's book,
they're the only guys that have. So
didn't talk about this during the show yet. Jay Stratton's book right now, it was supposed to come out early part of this year. It's still stuck in Dopser.
Yeah, probably. Jesus Christ, probably forever. But anyway, just wanted to give my 2 cents. I appreciate it. Thanks for everything you guys are doing. And I think Dylan's, he's a fucking hero, and so is Matt. And I appreciate what Jeremy's doing too.
Awesome. We're just got like 10 seconds left. There we go. That's actually the end of it. I want to go ahead and thank Tim Senor for actually going into there and going ahead and grabbing this. Daryl, it's
thank you, Tim.
Yeah.
Good job. I'm looking for the clapping hands. Here we go. Clapping hands.
Oh, I can't. My sound effects aren't running. And if I go to run it, I don't want to risk blowing stuff up. But anyway, happy freaking Tuesday, everybody. Great show. A lot of stuff to talk about. Yeah, we have a main story. But Daryl, day in and day out, there's enough stuff happening every day to support us having a show every day. I absolutely love it.
Man, I'm glad you do. I see a lot of people in the audience appreciate it as well. So, thank you for dedicating, this time of your life to doing this for everybody.
Well, it's like
you don't have any merchandise, you don't have any PayPal, nobody can buy you a fucking coffee. None of that shit.
I grind my own machines, and you get the machines where you can just put the beans in the water. You get perfectly made espresso out of it. All I need.
Yeah, Patreon. I mean, come on. There's none of this. YouTube
keeps on saying have memberships, and it's like, yeah, I already give everybody everything.
Membership.
What do I want to do? Go ahead and give people more? No, everyone's getting everything. That's what it's about.
Yeah, it's not about. Fortunately, you have another job. You don't have to depend on this every day and make shit up.
But behind this wall, the imaginary wall that goes there, I'm actually hitting. I have got so much video game development equipment there that we're going to have to start talking about eventually. It's stuff that would, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Nintendo DS development kits. I've got
That's
one.
the kind of merch I'm into.
I've got one in there for the Wii, but I can't sell the stuff. But it's nice to be able to talk about it to those people who relish it. Up in the attic, I've got stuff for the Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, Atari 7800, Sega Game Gear, a bunch of just things.
You should have a gaming night, Tom. You should have a gaming night.
Yeah.
Online, you can game with everybody, so we can game with you.
No, I've got three.
That may not be everybody's.
National security.
No, I know. National security. Having 2 or 3 Apple leases and those 5 megabyte, bread box size hard drives. Not a lot of people care about that. But
I'm just wondering, and this is going to sound different for some people.
I've got a Dreamcast and a Sega Saturn. My ex-wife fucking hawked my Sega Genesis and the Sega CD and the Mega CD from the United Kingdom, all gone. She said, it just disappeared. Must have been the people who were moving. No, that fucking bitch went and fucking hawked all that shit.
Anyway, I'm going to ask you what kind of joysticks you have in your closet back there. Not now.
All I have in there that would be equivalent to that. No, only in this closet here, I have a trackball, like for playing Centipede.
Okay.
Specifically for playing
the original
Centipede.
joysticks, they really had the ball on top, I mean, it was like cool.
Yeah.
You've got the old keyboard,
If you didn't have a Nintendo Power Glove, where the hell were you?
I never used a Power Glove, and I never used the 3D thing they had a long time ago.
Dude, that Power Glove is a fucking waste. I felt terrible. I was a young kid. My parents got it.
But I do have a Tempest arcade machine that I keep on getting told to get rid of in the what do you call it? In the living room that I will never get rid of.
It's a full-size original
Tempest, so it was converted into a main cabinet with a regular CRT, but it's got the Whirly gig going to USB, and the whole thing plays exactly like Tempest. Oh god, yeah.
You never had to replace any parts on it or anything?
No, it's fine. It's a Whirly gig. Those things last for freaking ever. It's not like I'm
Whirly gig.
That's what it's called.
I just think it's a funny name.
Absolutely.
I gotta find the root of that Whirly gig.
Yeah. Yeah, the Atari guys were great back in the day. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for coming out to this episode of Disclosure tonight. Most importantly, I know I've got a list up here. I had it up. I was showing during the show. Where the f did I put it? A Goonie Google? God damn it. Window.
A Goonie Google?
You know Goonie Google. You've heard that before.
No.
You've never heard that?
No.
Door chat. I want to go ahead and pop out chat. All right. I want to go ahead and thank people who gave us some super chats tonight. Fan-funded program. Appreciate it. No, thank you for throwing some money up on the stage during the tonight's episode. More importantly, I want to thank the people who did that. Where is that at? If I go to just quickly, here we go. Move that out of the way. Who gave us some super chats tonight? Yeah, I blew up the chat system tonight and had to kill it during the mid show. So I want to thank Shelley Montgomery for the last super chat. Thank you. DT is a place to be. Then Huskers, who's joined the back right now. Dylan is obviously going through a lot, but not because of what Jeremy Corbell asked. This was a great interview. Yes, absolutely. And also Thomas Fester, you're smarter than this. Come on, but people are people. I also want the next one from Huskers. Dylan knew what the question was coming from because it was rehearsed. Maybe he knew about it, but that look on Jeremy Corbell's face, Daryl, was fucking evil.
Yeah,
he looked that looked devious.
I have to. Yeah. He played. Fucking Corbell's an actor. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
they obviously had to
what was there on? What was the description? It looked like he had been drinking, maybe.
Yeah. But they Jeremy always talks about the fact that he's not going to hurt somebody by exposing things. So they had to talk about this beforehand, just to say that, hey, dude, I'm going to bring up this stuff, that you told me, or whatever.
100% agree, Daryl.
Yeah. Well, everybody, thank you for coming out. Daryl, thank you for being here, my friend. Happy National Security, everybody. And let's pray and hope we get some news, because we'll be back tomorrow. If not, we'll have a bunch of things to, we haven't talked about yet. The whole interchange of Lou Elizondo's hat on X. People were asking him questions about everything, and he answered a lot of them. And there's a lot of amazing answers in there. We haven't covered it yet, so hopefully we'll have something tomorrow. If not, that will be the subject. Well, some of the meat and potatoes to go ahead and fill up, to go ahead and have another day of Disclosure tonight. Daryl, thank you for coming out. Audience, thank you for coming out. And as we usually say at the end of every episode of Disclosure tonight, eyes open, no fear, be safe, everybody.